In our next video on Buddhism, we'll still be discussing the Buddha, discussing the Four Noble Truths.
The Bodhisattva returns. He looks different now, stronger, with more energy. A stranger collecting grass kneels to the ground. On his knees, he offers the Bodhisattva a bundle of grass. Heavenly angels start to sing. Purple water lilies and other flowers fall like rain from the sky. There is smell of incense in the air. I can see strength in the Bodhisattva's eyes as he comes near me. He looks around and sprinkles some grass on the ground. Magically, a wonderful seat appears. The Bodhisattva sits down with his legs crossed, facing east where the sun will rise. Angels celebrate with more singing, and the forest looks beautiful. Suddenly, it becomes dark. Blackness is covering the sky. A lightning explodes and shakes the ground. A terrible voice screams out. So this Prince Siddhartha wishes to escape from my world. He will fail. All at once, heavy rain pours from the black sky. My branches quickly reach down to protect the Bodhisattva, but he's not afraid. And magically, we are not wet from the thunderstorm. More terrible sounds scream out from behind the curtain. It's Mara, the evil one, riding Girmakala, the monster. Behind them are many, many angry demons ready to attack the Bodhisattva. They launch fiery rocks into the air. A sea of arrows race into the sky above. But look, the flaming rocks and arrows turn into flowers. They fall gently to the ground. The demons rush forward to attack with their swords and their axes, but their weapons turn into flowers too, as they fall to the ground. Mara punches into the air, shouting, "Get out! You cannot sit there! I am king! I give people all they desire. I am the giver. I should sit there." Pointing to his demons, he continues, "They are my witnesses. What have you given to others? Do you have any witness?" The Bodhisattva slowly touches the ground with his finger, and the earth responds with a mighty quake. Mara falls down. A voice from the earth says, "I am his witness." A beautiful goddess appears from the ground and bows to the Bodhisattva. She says, "Yes, I am Mother Earth, and I have seen in his previous life 100 times, 1,000 times, his hands, eyes, head, and his entire body he gave to help others." She turns to Mara and says, "He is better than you in loving kindness, generosity, and strength." The goddess twists her long, beautiful hair, and a river bursts out of it. All the water of offerings from the Bodhisattva's previous life pours out to flood and wash away Mara and his demons. The forest becomes quiet and peaceful. The Bodhisattva continues his meditation beneath my crowned heart-shaped leaves. Suddenly, Bright rays appear from his body. Blue rays, yellow, red, white, and orange gloriously light up the night. The Bodhisattva is now a Buddha, a supreme enlightened being, and I have become the tree of enlightenment, the Bodhi tree.
So the 4 sights from the previous video, when Siddhartha realizes aging, suffering, and death are in store for all of us in this cycle of samsara, but maybe there's hope. And this leads him to become a samana, which he eventually finds his place under the Bodhi tree and defeats Mara. And Mara is the demon of desires and cravings. The defeat of Mara is Siddhartha saying, you can't do anything to me because I have no desires. I have no cravings. Right? And this is the first part of the awakening, where Siddhartha Gautama becomes the awakened one, the Buddha. And he realizes that suffering is real. It's not Maya, which is what it is according to Hinduism. Well, that's just elusive. Don't worry about suffering and pain. No, Siddhartha's realization is suffering is real. It's not illusory. And not only is it real, it is in and pervades everything, and it is unescapable, unavoidable in this life. First part of the awakening, realize suffering is real. Second part is realizes to think is to recognize causes. Remember from Hermann Hesse's book, Siddhartha, worksheet you had to fill out. What is thinking? Thinking is the recognition of causes. So he realizes suffering is real and suffering is in everything. So he thinks about suffering. What then causes suffering? I have to be able to recognize the cause. So I'm going to think about suffering, I have to recognize the cause of suffering. And he realizes, well, the cause of suffering is in desire. We suffer because we desire. It's in craving. Craving causes suffering. So suffering is real. Craving causes suffering. But he wants to stop suffering. Nobody wants to suffer. This is what drove him away from his father's house in the first place. It's this realization that the cycle of life is aging, suffering, and death, and I don't want that. I want to be liberated. So how do I stop suffering? Well, if suffering is the effect, and craving is the cause, to get rid of the effect, I have to get rid of the cause. So to stop suffering, I have to stop craving. So the third part we get, to stop craving, stop suffering. Suffering is real, craving causes suffering. If you want to stop suffering, stop craving. How do you stop craving? To recognize the cause, to recognize what I need to do, doesn't yet tell me how to do it. And the answer here is going to be follow the Eightfold Path. So suffering is real, craving causes suffering. If I stop craving, I'll stop suffering. I need to follow the Eightfold Path. And we call these the Four Noble Truths.